Hi everyone, I'm Henry Timms of the 92nd Street Y. It's not every day in your life you get to follow Lincoln Park. So a big thank you to Lincoln Park, a big thank you to their amazing Power to the World campaign, and a big thank you for their commitment to sustainability all over the world. You know, this week is really in some ways about the last 20 years. And if we look back in the technology world, in 1992, it was a very different world than it is now. The World Wide Web was only really used by scientific departments. Windows had only got as far as 3.1. The video phone did launch, but it cost $1,500. In 1991, the first SMS text was sent. In 1992, AOL had 200,000 dial-up subscribers. In 1992, Ted Turner was the Man of the Year for Times magazine. In 1992, Pete Cashmore turned 8 years old. Of course, that's the past. What Rio+Social has been about is the future. It's about the next 20 years. It's about the connected generation and their capacity to repair the world all over the world. And social media, as we've seen today, operates in the future tense. It's not about what we did, it's not about what we could do, it's not about what we might do. It's what we will do. The spirit of the event today has not been about Rio plus 20, it's been about today plus 20. The people in this room, the people connected in languages around the world and all over the world, have a capacity to change the world for the better to such a greater degree than any generation in history. And the reason we think this conversation has been important isn't just because it's a bigger conversation and we welcome people into the conversation from all over the world. It's also because it's a better conversation. We have the capacity to solve some old problems with some new thinking, some new solutions, and most of all, some new people. To close the day today, there's no one really better to speak to us than Senator Tim Wirth. Senator Tim Wirth has committed his career to service, both at government, at state, and now as president of the UN Foundation. He's someone who's been a pioneer in environment, in climate change. He was the very first US legislator to hold hearings on climate change. And we thought, as we reached the end of the day, that we wanted someone who could both look back on the last 20 years and think about what we've learned, and also challenge all of us to think about the next 20 years and what we might achieve. It's a great pleasure to introduce someone who is a hero to many, Senator Tim Wirth.
Henry, thank you very much, and to Luciano and Lincoln Park, thank you again for your extraordinary leadership. We've had a wonderful time working with Lincoln Park over the years. They are helping to connect with 40 million people who've never been connected before. You all are being connected as other people have not had this privilege to understand what an extraordinary set of challenges is being faced here in Rio and what a long, long way we have to go. I hope as each of you comes out of Rio and you're thinking about the strength of your own institutions, you're thinking about the strength of what you do, you also understand that together we've got to band together because what's going on now is not close to being enough. When I was here 20 years ago, we had hoped that the world would come together on climate change and really make a huge difference. We've been disappointed over the last 20 years. Nothing is going on here in Rio right now related to climate change. We've sort of given up on that for a moment. The generation that's coming along is the generation that's going to suffer the most from this. And it's up to all of us to communicate with them and to tell them that absolute social and economic change is imperative. If we see what's going on over here related to the empowerment of women, it's extraordinary that the UN is drafting a document that in fact backslides on the empowerment of women. This at a time that over the last 20 years we thought we were going to make very significant progress. But institutions have grown up in the world who refuse to recognize the power of women, who refuse to recognize the reproductive health needs of women, and in fact are causing a significant backslide. It is going to be up to you to help to change that environment. That is going to be in part a political decision, it's an economic decision, it's a social decision. The basic facts that have to go out to 40 million people that you all have seen all day long today is that fundamentally our economic and social and political systems need very, very dramatic change. We need a new kind of an economy. We need an economy that is not damaging on the environment, but is in fact sustainable. We need an economy that focuses on the equities of the world, not the great disparities which we currently have between rich and poor. We need an economy that truly is based on democratic and participatory principles, not a few people making decisions from on high. These are characteristics of the economy that has to come. We began that in Rio 20 years ago. We've illustrated it, at least at this Rio conference. Now the job that we have is to carry this forward. It's going to take a tremendous amount of economic push. It's going to take a huge amount of social awareness, and it's going to take an unprecedented amount of political engagement. Those 40 million people who've been connected for the first time, all the people with whom you are connected are ones who are going to have to participate in this dramatic change. We can make a huge difference. We can slow down the destruction and accelerate the move towards sustainability. That's what we're here about right now. So thank you all very, very much for coming. We thank Henry and 92Y. We really, in Lincoln Park, we're deeply indebted to them. All of the sponsors have been terrific at doing this, and we at the United Nations Foundation feel it's been a great privilege to be able to put all of this together, and we look forward to a lot of long-term discussions with you. Remember, change and dramatic change is what's needed. Thank you very much.